Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Progress Report. It's your boy Nomad222. If you guys don't know who I am or what I do, go back and watch episode 1 because it'll give you all the context you need. But this is episode number 26. It is week 28. It is Valentine's Day today. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. Yeah, today I'm gonna keep this one short because I'm supposed to be going out with my lady today. So we're just gonna quickly go through all the stats, how we're looking this week, and then there's one thing that I want to bring up regarding social media. But starting always with our monthly listeners, it has been a down week. We have lost a couple of listeners. So we went from 603 monthly listeners to 591 this week. So that's a little bit disheartening, but you know, it is part of the flow. Unfortunately, you know, the content that I've been rolling out, the engagement, it hasn't been what I've been hoping it would be, especially, you know, to start off the year. All the streams have been down for what I had hoped it might be. And, you know, this comes back to managing expectations and things like that. But I have to admit, it's been quite a disappointing start to the year. 3 tracks deep into this 24-track rollout. And yeah, it is what it is. But that's how we're looking for our monthly listeners today. In terms of our all-time streams on Spotify, we are sitting at 162,248 streams. That's up 454 streams from last week. We have 310 Spotify followers, and we have been added to 35 new playlists over the past week. So we're sitting at 1,289 playlists. So that's cool. Thank you to everybody who's adding us to playlists and everything like that. In terms of where these streams are coming from, we've had a bit of a change in terms of the countries that the songs have been popping off in. So as per usual, we have Australia at number 1, 179 listeners, but United States has popped up to number 2, where we have 106 listeners in the US, 50 listeners in the Philippines, 49 listeners in New Zealand. And you'll remember last week we had South Africa as one of the countries at the end, but we're actually getting 31 listeners in Japan. So that's cool. That was unexpected. But yeah, we got Japanese listeners too. The top 5 cities that we have are 101 listeners in Melbourne, 208 listeners in Brisbane, 27 listeners in Sydney, 24 listeners in Auckland, and 19 listeners in Johannesburg. So shout out to Joburg, shout out to Okalangi, shout out to Sydney, shout out to Brisbane, shout out to Burn City. And yeah, that's Spotify for today. In terms of Apple Music, we have 3 daily listeners at the moment, 8,447 streams all time. So 56 more streams on that platform from last week. And the top cities on Apple Music are Melbourne, Sydney, Indianapolis, Tokyo, and Brisbane in that order. So Tokyo and Indianapolis, like that got me a bit amped up. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty cool. So shout out to everybody in Tokyo, konnichiwa. Shout out to everybody in Indianapolis. I have no idea if that has something to do with the fact that the Royal Rumble just happened in Indy. So, you know, maybe this is a sign that my path is aligning with the WWE in some way, and who knows, maybe I'll be yeeting with Jey Uso at WrestleMania, at the next WrestleMania main event. So that's the streaming platforms. That's how that's looking. In terms of the social media platforms, we're sitting at 4,164 followers on Instagram. So we had 35 people follow us in the past week and 10 people unfollow. 5,573 followers on TikTok, and 693 subscribers on YouTube. So that's dope. In terms of the deep analytics, so we had 17,475 views on Instagram and 505 interactions towards those views. So out of the views, 41.8% were followers and 58.2% were non-followers. So we had more non-followers viewing the content than people that are actually following me. Out of the interactions, we had 83% followers and 17% non-followers. On TikTok, 18,000 views, 567 likes, 59 comments, 11 shares. YouTube, 7,027 views, 194 likes, 9 shares, 30 comments. The engagement rate on Instagram is 2.89%. And on TikTok, 3.54%, which is down from last week. And YouTube, 3.32%, which is down from last week too. So yeah, overall, it's been a bit of a dud this past week. I don't know what to chalk that up to, but as you'll recall from last week, I did tell you that I've been having conversations with Spell and Tiana Kasi about my strategy with social media and things like that. And to be quite honest with you, it's been very much on autopilot this past week. I've just been doing a bit of thinking. I've been doing a bit of brainstorming around, how I'm going to change things up from the typical formula, because, the past 3 months, I want to say, since December when I dropped Switch Up, or even like a little bit further than that when I was doing the release of the Nomadic from August to November, I do remember feeling like, let me talk about how the schedule has been. So scheduling, I've been trying to commit to 5 posts a day, and not really trying, I actually have committed to 5 posts a day and making sure that I'm getting this content out as frequently as possible. And that includes I'll have a post go out in the morning promoting my new single. So Just Do It, for example. A post will go up at 7 or 7:30, and the idea was that I catch people when they're waking up in the morning, just before they get out of bed, they've opened up their phone, and I'm the first thing that they see on their news feed. That's the reason why I wanted to go for 7 a.m. So they see that, they see my new song, hopefully that leads to streams. And then later on in the morning, around 10:30, I'll post my bulk content, which is where I'm promoting one song from my catalog in the past. So, it could be Takeoff, it could be Testing, it could be The News, it could be Trying to Be Grown, it could be any one of those songs that have already been released, but it's a new song every single day, just to remind people that this is out, this exists, or even exposed to new people who haven't heard of me before, that this is a song that I've made, you can check it out now. Even though it's been out for forever. So I'll post that. And then at 12 o'clock, I'll post a clip of this progress report. I'll post this to all social platforms so that people can see what I'm doing in this episode, and they can hopefully go to my YouTube channel and see it. So that's post number 3 at 12 o'clock. And then 3 o'clock, I have been posting clips from Mad Mondays so that people can see me answering questions. That was the whole reason why I started it, was so that I can answer these questions, get them out to the world, and people can start to learn more about me. So that's post number 4 happening at 3 o'clock. And then anytime between 4:30 and 6, I'll post some more content that's promoting the latest single. So Just Do It I've been posting exclusively at 4:30. And that's how it's been for months now. That's how it's been. And from those conversations that I had with Tiana and Spell, the idea was that, the general consensus was that I'm posting a lot and not getting much in return, or not getting what I should be getting in return, due to the fact. And so I've been letting my scheduled posts run for the past week, and just, putting it out there, let it do what it does, and however the cookie crumbles is just how the cookie crumbles. And as I just stated to you guys, the numbers are a little bit down from what they were at last week. The momentum hasn't, it wasn't continuing to grow as we were, and I think people are just getting tired of it. I'm following a formula, I'm following a schedule, I'm following a strategy, and people are either buying into it. But then the other thing to take into account too is that I believe I've been shadow banned. Shadow banned is still a term that I'm trying to fully grasp and things like that. But essentially, my engagement has been so low for so long that Instagram has decided that my account doesn't need to be pushed, and the algorithm is working against me, and not working for me to push me out to new fans. And I know that's kind of hard to fully, obviously that's not completely true, due to the fact that 58.2% of my views are non-followers, right? So obviously I'm starting to break out of the algorithm now, but there's a chance that they are not pushing me to my followers at the moment. And another key factor of that is that I don't know if my followers, I'm making a lot of new followers every single day, as evidenced by these numbers. A lot of you guys that are watching this and getting this content today are probably people who have just started following me due to the push that I'm making this year, as well as the push that I started last year. But the double-edged sword of that is like, for every new person that I'm getting, I've got 10 people who've been following me since 2018 or whatever year you want to say, who just don't fuck with me anymore. And not to say that's a bad thing. Like, if you don't fuck with me, that's fine. But what I have been planning and what I'm looking at is I kind of have choices, and I'm spending a bit of time over the past week just to really think out what I want to do moving forward and which option has the best pros and cons. So the options that I have in mind are that I either need to audit my current Instagram page and go through my following list and one by one just, think as much as possible about who actually fucks with me in this list. Who do I know is always showing love, who's checking up on me, checking out what I'm doing, and genuinely rocking with what I'm trying to put out into the world as an artist, and keeping those people and then getting rid of everyone else. So unfollowing, making them unfollow me, blocking them in some cases, which I haven't started doing. It's just an option right now. But to me, the main con of that is just how tedious and time consuming that task is going to be, just to sit down and go through my following list one by one, each follower, and figure out if they deserve to be here or not. I would much rather if some, AI or something could do that for me, or if if I could have someone else do it for me. But as you guys know, I'm doing a lot of this stuff on my own. So that's option number one. Option number two is to completely start a new channel, right? Implement my strategy as I have been and start a new channel and see how I can go, getting organic followers and people that, actually rock with me. And, as evidenced by how my growth has been on the other platforms like TikTok, like YouTube, I have a feeling that if I were to, like, my main problem platform at the moment is Instagram. Let's be completely honest. Instagram has been extremely tough to receive any kind of recognition on, or any kind of momentum on, simply due to the fact that my followers are either not getting my stuff or just don't care enough about what I'm doing. So I want to start fresh. I want to not follow any family and friends. I want to have a new platform. And I'm saying I want to, but I'm just addressing the cons. I want to try this strategy and see once and for all, like, this will give me clarity into the fact that, whether or not my content is actually good, I just needed to start fresh. Or if it still doesn't work after I've tried a new account, then that just means that, the content needs another look at. And I would much rather find a way to stick with the system that I currently have in place, and, have been able to, practice these different things. I film these every week. I cut them into smaller clips. I release music. I have smaller clips of that I put out. And it's just a good, efficient system that works for my life and allows me to have some kind of balance. If I need to change that up, then that's just going to be even more time that I'm using to and brain power that I have to give to the development process and the research process to execute a new plan, right? Like, I just don't have the capacity mentally, physically at the moment to adapt to a new plan. And look, I've said in past progress reports, like, this is episode number 26. I've said in one of the other 25 episodes that I love being a content creator and that I love doing this stuff, and I've been really enjoying the process. But I got to admit, 28 weeks in, I'm really starting to dislike the grind of it all, and dislike the fact that it often is unrewarding. It's getting tough, and it's really starting to affect me, and I keep slipping back into that place of like, man, I did not get into music to become a content creator. I did not get into rapping and performing just so that I can become try and aspire to be an influencer. Like, I don't enjoy promoting my music like this, and I know that just sounds, it really is just me having a sook. It really is just me crying about the fact that I have to do all this, Instagram and TikTok stuff. But at the same time, like, I have to find a way to make things appealing. Like, Just Do It isn't a song that I feel needs to be appealing. Like, that's me at my braggiest. That is me at my most braggadocious and ego-driven, just letting my pen speak for me and just trying to be one of the illest lyricists alive. But here I am trying to promote it and be like, this is why you should listen to me. And I made a bunch of content on this run that says stuff like, you just found a dope unsigned artist with less than 1,000 monthly listeners, and just things like that. Like, to an extent, I feel like I found a version of what works for other artists that works for me, like, that doesn't feel cringe. Like, when I say that, like, that's very real to me. Like, I am an unsigned artist. I am a Samoan rapper from Burn City who's trying to make it, who has less than 1,000 monthly listeners, and all of that stuff is very true. And so I don't feel as bad, but like, I'm very much following trends and formulas that I've seen work for other artists that don't necessarily represent me to the best of my abilities. Like, I really just want to get past this point and get to a point where people know who I am, people understand my brand, and people don't need to dig as deep as they currently do to figure out who I am and why I should appeal to them. I really just want to be able to get on here, lip sync my songs, and then people go, that is a dope song, I want to check that out, and then go check. But I'm just so time poor and money poor at the moment. It's really becoming difficult to keep my head up. But with that being said, a perspective that has really been forgotten in the past week, and that I really need to try and remember as hard as I can, is the fact that I am aiming for 24 singles this year. And we are only up to number 3. And it's just proven to me how easy it is to get knocked off course and feel so disheartened, like none of this stuff is working. But I know that in the long run, like, give me the rest of the shots. Give me 21 more shots, and let's just see what happens this year. And then if it doesn't happen this year, there's always next year, right? It's very much like, this is the regular season. We're not even in the playoffs yet. So how am I already getting down on myself because I've taken 3 L's? And that's, some of you guys might want to tell me, like, bro, it's not an L. You didn't take an L on this. You're doing good work. People are listening. But look, I know what I set out to do this year, and I'm just taking them as L's. They are L's. It is what it is. But with that being said, like, I do want to address my content strategy. I know it's getting predictable. I know that it's getting bland and people are getting over it a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know where I'm at with this whole social media thing, this whole promotion thing. It's time to go back to the drawing board and make a change. With that being said, it's been a week since the Timberland competition was announced. I haven't really done any work towards that. I mean, the voting doesn't open until March 1st. But one thing that I am conscious about is the fact that it is a popularity contest. And I'm not a popular dude right now. I'm not the most popular person in my scene, let alone around the entire globe, where this competition is a global event. So I'm competing with a lot of people. But with that being said, I just want it so badly. So I'm really trying to figure out how my strategy is going to look for that rollout. Like, I want to treat it like a proper campaign. I want to use all of my catalog as well as new music to run that campaign and just get my message out to the world. Like, hey, here I am. This is me. This is what I do. Fuck with me. Get me on this Timbaland album. So if you guys are watching this for the first time, you guys don't know who I am, please take some time to invest in my story and figure out who I am. I've got all of, I'm an open page. I've got so much content on this YouTube channel that tells you everything you need to know about me. I got vlogs, I got music videos, I got lyric videos. I've got all these progress reports, all this content. So please take a minute, check it out. Let me know what you think about me. And when the competition opens up on March 1st, let that be us. Let that be me and you. And we'll make something work. Anyway, I'm Nomad222. I appreciate you guys for watching this. Please like or dislike if you didn't like it. Subscribe to the channel, it helps. Follow me on Spotify. Check out my song, Just Do It. It's out on all platforms. Pre-save my next single, On the Run, which drops on the 21st. And most of all, remember that at the end of the day, together, we move.